Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Kobold Chats. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. I use any and all pronouns that you happen to not be using. And it is Friday once more. We're here doing my favorite thing, talking to you about TTRPGs and Kobold Press. Hope you're all doing wonderful, amazing. I hope you're doing wondermazingly today. I don't know what that word is, but hey, we don't always need to know what the words that we're saying mean, though, as much. Actually, no, take that back. Know the words that you're saying. Words mean things. All right. Maces and monsters and mages. Oh my. Yes. Today we are doing another one of our interviews with one of our Kobold Creates partners. That's right. You remember that thing that we did a couple of months ago where we got a bunch of amazing people to send in their ideas for projects that they wanted to do with the Labyrinth Worldbook and Labyrinth Adventures. And we chose 10 projects to be able to give money and support to help them make the thing that they wanted to make happen. And we did one of our interviews last week with the folks over at Fables Tales from the Forgotten. I don't know why I was trying to put Fable in that. There's no fables in that. It's just Tales from the Forgotten and Dungeon Studios. And this week we are talking with some of the folks over at Apochromatic Unlimited. And you know what? Enough of me talking. Let's get them on over here. Hello, all of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Hey.
Lovely.
Hey. So let's start off from the top here. Hey, for the people who don't know who any of you all are or what it is that you do, hey, who are you? What do you do? And we can start off with Souza and then go down from there.
All right. Hi, I'm Andrew, or Souza. I am the whoa, what? Uh, my brain just turned off. Hold on. All right.
No, you're so
From the
good.
top, I'm Andrew. I am I am the host of Melanin Mythos and one of the admin team over at Apochromatic Unlimited. Uh, that's pretty much all I do.
Yeah. Hey, but that thing that you do is cool and important. So that's that's just what that is. Madam Ava.
Well, hello, my dears and my darlings. My name is Madam Ava Couture, or Madam Ava for short. I am known on the internet for the lady who does the fan clacks, like so. And I'm the bringer of glitter. So, whatever you invite me on to your shows, there will be just a patch of glitter left behind, and it will never be removed, just so you can remember our time together. I'm a player of games and a person of many healing, and I'm happy to be here today.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, and I'll be looking forward to finding glitter everywhere for the next couple of weeks. And last but certainly not least, Jen.
Yes, the talking about myself part, my favorite. Hello, friends. My name is Jen. My pronouns are they, she. I do actual play, performance, production, overlay design, project management. I wear a lot of hats. Ava, you can glitter up my life anytime. I love you so much. Um, and yeah, that's me. I just wear a lot of hats.
Wear a lot of hats, a lot of good hats, a lot of real good hats. So let's talk a little bit about Apochromatic Unlimited because I know all of you joined the group at different points in times and through different ways. So first, what is Apochromatic Unlimited and how is it that you came to be a part of it and what's been your experience so far? Anyone can take this first question.
I volunteer, Andrew.
Yeah, I'll steal the floor. Uh, Avochromatic Unlimited is a collective set on uplifting the voices of POC in the TTRPG space. That is the simplest definition of us, but we're a convoluted, complicated thing. We have zines, we have podcasts, we have actual plays. We do a lot. uh,
Yeah.
And I joined Apochromatic Unlimited because I was friends with some people over there, and I pitched the idea of an all BIPOC world building podcast, and Melanin Mythos was made out of that decision to pitch that, and I've been with Apochromatic Unlimited since then. Uh, yeah, and very recently I became a member of the admin team as the podcast lead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
I think with me, I knew of APOC for a while. I think I ended up following them after my first full year of doing actual plays. Somewhere in that space, I ended up meeting Mark, who is one of the members and one of the leads of APOC. And Mark has a podcast where he talks about many different things, and I was brought onto that podcast to talk about being black in these spaces and the magic that we can do in these spaces. And I've been lurking there ever since. And luckily, through the powers that be and the glitter speaking to me, I sometimes am able to catch projects on occasion when I'm just lurking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. This is actually my first experience playing with Epoch Unlimited. I have been aware of them, much like Ava, for a very long time, pretty much since I started stepping into the space more professionally in 2022. I, again, like Ava, Mark seems to be the common denominator here. I ran into Mark
Sourcing
at the
talent.
POC meet and greet networking thing at Big Bad Con last year. We got to talking. We ended up sitting at the same table chatting. And he was like, "Here's an invite," and I was like, "Great, awesome." And honestly, something that kind of stands out to me about this community in particular is there are a lot of communities out there that are like, BIPOC people are welcome, BIPOC people are, et cetera, et cetera. It's awesome. It's one thing to have that, and another thing to have a space that is made for BIPOC people, not just to include them, but for them. And I have been lurking for a long time in the Discord, just kind of like, um, I'm insanely busy. But I've just been waiting for like the right opportunity that speaks to me, and I ended up seeing this call in there, I think, at some point, and I was like, this seems really cool. Boop. And then by some twist of fate, I just got a message one day being like, "Hey, do you want to be in this project?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I do."
Yeah. Ah, that's so cool. I love all of the different ways that you all kind of came together. That also seems very much tied in feeling like you had a space that would be supportive and a place that would enable you to be able to do the amazing things that you all do. Um, what is it about? And Gianna, you were just saying that like you saw the org's like call for this project. What is it about you all's Labyrinth project that is like, I guess that got you interested, right? What is it about the Labyrinth Worldbook, about Tales of the Valiant, that sparked this initial interest for this project?
So I'm gonna kick us off real quick because I have thoughts.
Please have thoughts.
Years and years ago, back when I first started playing ttrpgs back in college, orientation freshman year, by the way, what an experience. I had an idea where, without going into too much detail, just to leave room for everyone else, which was basically reality shatters and all comes together into one conglomerate universe where it's essentially the multiverse, but in one universe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I saw a little bit of that in this project, in this concept with the Labyrinth Worldbook, and I was like, this they took the thing and they made it real. And honestly, like I just found that very, very cool. So I wanted to kind of get in on this and see what it looked like when actual professionals did the writing.
Hey, whoa, you're a professional now.
I
Yeah.
wasn't when I was 21.
Fair, fair.
I think for me, it was a bit more simpler for me. Typically, I join on to different projects because it's something different than what I'm usually used to. This one was a bit different because it is a variation of D&D, but I think it was also like around the time when I signed on for this. things like Dagger Hearts was also starting to come to the forefront, and people are experimenting in those formats. So being in a system where it is very familiar, but then there are all tweaks to it and some changes that set it apart from what is the traditional D&D. I was curious when playing with that and experimenting with that, especially because for the character that I played, and I'll go into it a bit more later,
Mhm.
she is a character from a D&D campaign that I just finished this year. It was my first D&D game and my first epic campaign, so I
Oh,
wanted to use the difference in what I knew from that campaign and see what the differences would be between that campaign and this one, like in a
mhm.
technical and story building standpoint.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I can't wait to get to that. How about you, Andrew?
I have been Team Kobold Press since like the Midgar Worldbook came out. So
It's good.
I've been following I've been following Kobold Press for this whole time, and I saw the opportunity to uh, pitch something and set up an idea to, use our APOC space to uplift BIPOC people and, you know, tell a story that's specifically BIPOC using this rule set is more the reason why I jumped at the opportunity to do this. But I love Tales of the Valiant. So
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear you do it, and I'm really interested in digging into that a little bit. We actually have a question from one of our audience members over on YouTube that I think is a great follow up to what you just said, Andrew. Um, and also to something that Jen said earlier, what benefits do you feel like you're gaining being in a BIPOC space versus a space that is just BIPOC friendly? And how do you think that's helping you tell these stories that you are telling?
Tokenization is such an easy um is the main thing. And like speaking for myself only, not speaking for anyone else. In the past, I have felt if someone I have been kind of in a position where I have been asked to take part in something not because of my skill or not because of the way that I play, but oh, you're a BIPOC person and we need more BIPOC people. It is such a big difference to have, a no offense intended, a white run channel that's like yes, we welcome and prioritize BIPOC people, but very often that can kind of bleed into, oh, you're BIPOC, please do something for us, as opposed to you're really good at what you do, and this is why we
Mm-hmm.
want you. And that's kind of the difference there is just like I don't feel tokenized, and that's really, really nice.
Understandable.
It is a comfortability for me. I have my spaces where it is predominantly white, but they are friendly to me and they take care of me and my characters and willing to work with me. And I do appreciate my friends and colleagues in those spaces, but there's something just so comforting and so nice, especially when you see other BIPOC, or more specifically, more Black people on your table, where you can make the jokes of like, now, did this white person really, do I have to insight check this vibe? Is this a white person thing, or is this a genuine
Where's the
issue that I have to like insight check for?
yeah?
Or, or just like having cultural significance, like significance in a character and not having it lost in translation or having to like push and pull with your GM
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that it comes across properly. So it's just a comfort and an ease.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, I think I'll jump in there and say for me, I think I am a fan of, listening to people's lived experiences and like what they've gone through and how that reflects into characters and things that they play in games. And I think being a BIPOC space, we get a lot of variety in that department, and we're able to, uplift people and give them, different spots and spaces to, bring a character to life that has their like lived experience, which sometimes you don't get because to harken back to the tokenization idea, it is one BIPOC person in a cast of people who attempting to, portray their lived experience in a mirrored sort of mutual narrative, which is complicated. And I think once you get into a space where everyone is kind of uh, open to feel like they can give their personal experience, then you get better stories.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I think even more so, like stories within the labyrinth, I think lend towards this kind of highly diverse and highly like like what you were saying about like mutually sharing those experiences, because the labyrinth is a world of over 10,000 worlds, including the hells, including dreaming islands, and so on and so forth. It is a place where people from so many different places can come together and either, work together and so on and so forth. And so I think it only makes sense, right, for this specific kind of story being cultivated by people from various experiences, various cultural heritages, various religious heritages, so on and so forth, being able to bring their own experiences into a story about hopping from world to world and saving, and like where like saving the world is not just saving your world, it's saving everyone's, because all of them are connected. And so I think this specific perspective works really well with what I think the labyrinth is or should be. And so I think that's super cool. Getting more into the specifics of your project, though, it is being split into 3 parts. What are those 3 parts, and what are you hoping to achieve with each of them?
So each of the parts, the first part is the actual play. The second part is going to be a episode of Melanin Mythos where we take what happened in the actual play and the world that we sort of built there and expand on that and try to build that out. And then our third part is a talk back, which hopefully we can bring people together and talk about the first 2 parts
Mm-hmm.
and answer any questions that people have. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
I
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, 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 please, if you had more to say.
Oh, I was gonna say. I think to answer the what we hope to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
my original idea and what I wrote in the pitch was I wanted to give people watching the experience of like a game being played and like narratively what it is to play a game in the labyrinth. And then I wanted to flip to the other side and sort of give them a look at what it's like to build out things and, use the little dials in the Labyrinth book to make something of your own. And I felt like it was a full experience. And then the final part was just we do so much in the first 2 parts that I wanted to give you room to, ask questions or, for everyone to give their thoughts on what happened. So,
Yeah. In a way, it almost feels kind of educational in some ways, right? Of like, especially like you're starting off with the one shot where it sounds like a lot of the world building is kind of whatever is happening, right? Where whatever the characters and players bring to the table is like the foundation points, and then you build on top of that with the second one, and then talk about your process and what was fun about it and like things like that. And the third one, it feels like, I think, a really good entrance point for either GMs or players, right, to sit with the process of, we started telling this game, or we started telling this story, we've started playing this game, let's say we just got together for a one shot, but we want to keep this going. How do we do that? And like being able to watch that happen, I think is really cool. Was the intent for it to be educational in that way, or why do it in the structure, I guess?
uh, I I can't say that I definitively felt like
Yeah.
my goal was to be educational, but I did feel like as a person who runs a world building show, that there should be a world building element. And then I also felt like we should play the game because I think that's the full experience. Someone is building the world
Yeah.
and someone is crafting the adventure, and then, people are playing the adventure. And that, like, I guess, set thought process was like, I want both,
Hmm.
and I can do both. So
Yeah. And for Ava and Jen, as players in this game, what was it like? Or like, what, I guess, did you have any goals of being players in this game, knowing that whatever you did during the one shot was going to build, like, going to be the stepping stones for a larger world that was being made?
You first.
Dang, I'm thinking. But I think I didn't really think about it too hard because at least with the one shot, for me personally, we didn't do too much expansion outside of like the different factions and then setting up where the characters were from.
Yeah.
But having those taste of seeing the different characters and seeing the differences of how they interact with the people of like their factions and where they're from,
Hmm.
that gave me the hint of there's something being more. And I'm excited to see what happens with the building on part and then the talk back to try to expand on what we couldn't really do in the one shot itself.
Yeah. Was there any particular faction or lore that you found yourself like hooked onto, that you're like, oh, this is the thing I'm doing?
People who know me know that I love Celestials. So as soon
Mm.
as I saw the Concord of Stars, I was like, I can make them nicer.
these these
I
celestial
can fix them.
warriors, I can
You
fix
really
them.
looked at them and you were like,
Hush.
I can fix them?
Hush. Look, if people can do that with demons, I can do it with angels. Let me have this, Jen.
That's fair.
To be clear, I don't want to fix demons. I want demons
To be word.
PG-13. Um,
To
Of course.
appreciate me.
I want to appreciate demons.
yes, I want a smoochy demon.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about you? Was there anything that you wanted to either bring to the world, knowing that it was going to be built on more, or was there any specific a part of the lore that hooked you?
Oh, for me it was the void. I love anyone who knows me, so like I'm a little bit of like the opposite to Ava, where Ava is light, I am dark. I am a big nerd for shadows, uh for like chaos isn't quite the word that I'm looking for. It's more just, it's just the unpredictability of the world, of the universe, of the multiverse even. And I really wanted to expand on that a little bit, especially with the subclasses that we were given in the world book, to be able to kind of play with that a little bit. That was kind of where I was most interested to expand and do a little bit of building.
Awesome. I guess I'll toss the same question to you, Andrew. Was there any particular part of the lore or a faction or anything that really hooked you as far as the labyrinth goes?
I think the factions just in general and their sort of nature and how they all behave differently but have very similar focus.
Hmm.
It felt like a cool place to insert a story, and by like picking the four factions as like the different players, we were able to sort of touch on all those elements and all those different like worldview perspectives. And I think just looking at them and reading them and seeing like, oh wow, they're like all looking at the same thing and being able to look at that perspective was really cool and fun when I was reading the book. And
Oh,
so I wanted to bring that into the session.
yeah. So was it was it set up in the way where each player was a part of one of the different factions?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was a first come, first serve, and we all just ran for it.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
So Ava, I know you chose the Concord of Stars. What did the other two choose?
It
Um,
was the dreaming one. I
yeah,
don't
there was
remember
Dreaming
what it
One,
was.
and there was Keeper of the Keys and the Old Ring.
Yeah.
Um,
So which ones did you choose?
Oh, I went the old ring. I was initially considering Keeper of the Keys. For reference, those guys are the ones that pretty much they are interested in the more academic aspects of everything, studying the void. And while they are still kind of opposed to it, they were more curious. I decided to have a little bit of fun. And I went for the old ring, who are basically explorers, adventurers opposing the void. Um, and I ended up weaving it into my backstory. We'll get into that in a minute, I'm sure. But yes, it was. I am I am one of the people that goes out into the labyrinth to essentially fight the void.
Nice.
And then
Uh,
obviously with Concord of Stars, they're the more order and making sure that there is control in the universe type of faction. I mainly picked it because it had celestial vibes. I didn't really care about all that other nonsense. I know I'm able to work it in wherever I'm able to do. I
It's like
just
the
saw angels
Wheelers.
and I'm like, I need to be this.
I need to be
Uh,
with them.
if it wasn't going to be that, it was probably going to be. I probably would have been interested in the keepers
Mm.
because of just that knowledge base and the curiosity. I'm someone who typically when I play games, I like to keep the brain cell together where everyone else can be the chaos gremlins. I'm the mom that herds the cats. But this year, I've been trying to expand and be a
Mhm.
little bit more chaotic. And I was willing to go with that, but I like my comforts and I'm okay with that.
Hey, you know, you like what you like, and that, hey,
Thanks, Party
nothing wrong
Mom.
with that.
Yeah, you're welcome, dear.
Andrew, did you
yeah,
have something you were going to say?
yeah, I was gonna say the other two players are not with us, but Austin uh, Taylor chose the keeper of the keys, and then Dusty chose, what did Dusty choose? What's the other one? Brain work.
Oh,
The Dreamers.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
very funny for
The
Dusty.
Servants of the Dreaming God. I got the
Yeah.
PDF pulled
yeah.
up.
Yes, yeah, it's
And for
this.
those and for the reference, those are the hedonists of the world.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you drink a little too much, you go to sleep, you wake up, and you made another world on accident. And
You drink
hey,
too much void juice and you end up making a world.
you end up making up a world, and then you tell everyone else that they have to. Well, you don't tell everyone else that they have to do it. They automatically assume that they have to take care of it because that's what they do,
You are your own beholder in the universe, and that's okay.
and that's okay.
Oh my god, they're cat herders, but they make the cats.
That's kind
Yes.
of one of them going to bed, and every day I'm like, I love these cats. I feel like there's more of them than when I went to bed.
I thought I only had two. Why do I have
Well, that's what
three
happens
now?
when you leave a whole bowl of kibble outside overnight.
You know, they just keep showing up, I guess. Oh my gosh. Was there um you know what we've been talking about? Let's talk about the characters that you all played. What were the lineages, classes, subclasses, you know, the juicy stuff.
I need to pull up the PDF for myself just so I can remember the names.
Well, you're pulling
yeah,
that up.
understandable. Yeah.
I was playing a beastkin sorcerer. A lot of you are going to know what a sorcerer is. It's basically someone who comes into their powers via blood, or like essentially a cataclysm of some sort. I went with the latter. Magic is innate and not studied, or like granted by a patron. The beastkin part of it, it's very similar to what it sounds like. It's essentially a humanoid question mark or humanoid asterisk. with various animal features depending on kind of what branch of animal you're looking at. Like you could go with, uh, reptilian stuff. You could go fishy. I personally went avian, as I'm sure it's very shocking from my social media handle. I went avian.
Whoa,
Um,
you like birds? Who would have
I
guessed?
like birds. What? It's almost as if we played a bird one shot together once.
Oh, we did. I forget.
We did,
We did.
yeah. Um, and I am very much a typical martial class kind of person. I like to hit things, and I like to hit things hard, or I like to hit things fast until they fall down. I don't do much full casting. But I decided this is a one shot. I'm gonna have some fun. I saw that there was a labyrinth specific sorcerer subclass,
Mhm.
um, which was essentially like I think it was like Umbral Sorcerer,
Yes, yeah, that's like the
which
void
essentially
one, shadow
channels
one.
the energy of the void. It's very edgy. It's very based in shadows. Imagine a shadow monk, but like, a sorcerer.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. Essentially came into her powers. Her name was Raya. She came into her powers when essentially she went exploring in the labyrinth and something went wrong, as things do.
As
And
things
then
do.
she woke up in the healer's wing, and the void was the void had come. Uh, and yeah, that was Raya.
That's so. What level did you all play at?
5.
5.
5. Ooh. Okay, so you all were you all
We were
We had the
had
decently into
subclasses
our
and everything.
subclasses. We
yeah.
had an ability score improvement. Those of us who could have an extra attack did have an extra attack.
Oh, so yeah, just enough where you've got enough toys to really play with it.
Yeah. Not so much that that like a combat would take the entire session because we're all level 20 and it takes 8 years to get through our turns, but
Yeah.
like high enough that we have like defining features.
Yeah, that's really cool.
For my character, Chasiku, as I mentioned earlier on, she is a character from my first campaign. And similar to my first campaign, she was a cleric of light. Unlike the end of the campaign where she became a grave cleric. But that doesn't, we don't have to talk about that. But
Of course, yeah. No, we
same
don't have to talk
class,
about that.
we don't have to talk about that trauma. Same class going in, cleric of the light domain. So it was very interesting to see the differences between the two in that regard. And then similar in D&D, she is an Asmere, but in this one, she is a Siderian,
Yeah.
but of the more celestial variety instead of Tiefling. And she was a character that obviously whenever you play a tiefling or a ace mirror, there's always going to be a religious trauma aspect to them. We're queer, it just happens. So hers was adapting to a philosophy of a type of faith and being very ingrained into that faith, even though her interpretation of it is a bit different from everyone else's. And because she has a different interpretation, she is seen in regard in a specific light. And I play her like an oracle based character. So she believes that she has this type of energy that is very connected to the gods.
Hmm.
And she is God's favorite daughter, that whole thing. And you can either be in awe of her or be very terrified of what the implications of that could be. And that translated into both in this one shot and in her original campaign. So seeing how the bouncing off of that also occurred. Still team mom, like team player mom, uh,
Hmm.
doing a lot more healing than I usually did in my original campaign. I wanted so badly to just be like in my original campaign, I want to be a fighter, but I don't want to play fighter. So, but in this one, a lot more healing.
A lot
I
more healing.
understand
I'm
healing
gonna
is
be
needed.
real. Fighter is so mu I'm gonna be real. Fighter is so much fun. I will never
I
play
just
a
like
human,
magic.
but I will always play a fighter.
I feel you.
I still have not played a fighter yet. I stay with cleric and paladin mainly.
The only human I ever played was when I took over an NPC because my character, anyway, irrelevant.
No,
But
it
it
doesn't
wasn't my
matter.
human.
And that's what matters.
And that's what matters. I'm so interested in how did you all feel about the mechanics of Tales of the Valiant? Like Ava, you were saying that you are playing a character that you've played before in Dungeons and Dragons. How did it feel playing her in Tales of the Valiant?
It it felt very familiar in how the mechanics of like the classes felt.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main difference was we did a little bit of homebrewing, a little bit with just how our storyteller and how they like to do their campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
But having the different lineages is a lot different. And having different aspects of those lineages, and then you have your backgrounds, and then
Your
the
heritage
the
and
heritage. That made me think a bit more Pathfinder like, especially
mm-hmm.
Pathfinder 2e.
Mm-hmm.
So it was unique in how I don't play Pathfinder, so I'm not really used to it that often, but it was still familiar where it was relatively easy to get back into character building aspects. And then when it comes to the classes, pretty different in the different um traits that the classes have, at
Mm-hmm.
least with my with cleric. um very, it made me think of Tasha's the Tasha book that came out, like the updates from the Tasha book, a
Mm-hmm.
lot more than what original 2014 D&D is. So familiar but still unique changes.
Yeah. Was there anything that stood out to you, Jen?
Y'all, the warlock has spell slots.
True, the warlock does have
I,
spell
like,
slots now.
I'm gonna be so real. I was looking at Sorcerer and I was like, I wonder what like the warlock's 1.5 spells a day look like. Y'all, they actually have spell slots. That's what stood out to me. Warlock has spell slots. I
Oh,
didn't play one because I was like, I would rather have like the chaos of Sorcerer, and I don't really think there's room in a one shot to properly explore a patron. But like, y'all, the warlock has spell slots.
yeah. Every single class got a redo, and a lot of it is around things like giving the warlock spell slots, making sure that the ranger's hunter's mark doesn't take a spell
Yeah.
slot, and it's
It was
just like
so
quality of
freaking
life stuff
nice.
like that.
It was
Yeah.
so nice. But yeah, kind of also Ava with the kind of almost hybrid between 5e and Pathfinder. I'm a Pathfinder one girly, which as y'all may know is possibly modular to a fault. Um, but yeah, it was I found it to be a very good kind of in between. It felt a little bit more customizable somehow. Don't ask me how, but it did. It felt a little bit more customizable. And also, y'all, the Warlock has freaking spell slots. Oh my God.
I'm so happy that someone else cares about the warlock spell slots because
There's a
I've
reason I've
got
never played a Warlock
spells.
before, and it's because I like my spell slots. If I'm gonna cast, I want to cast.
Exactly,
I think
right?
this. I think the sorcerers also had access to a lot more spells in Cobalt Press compared to D&D. Because, like, I know one of the biggest complaints I've seen from friends is especially when it came to specific subclasses of sorcerer, you're very limited in what uniqueness you had with your magic. And
Mm-hmm.
this one, I think they expanded a bit more to make it more even like everyone is a favorite child in sorcerer.
Uh-huh. I'm just Gian, I'm sorry that you got timed out by not pot.
That's
You
fine.
got really
Dang,
excited, and I'm sorry
it
that I
only
punished
happened to
you for
Jen.
Red
that.
Hawk's like, nope.
It's the all caps for it. That's so funny. But yeah, and I guess Andrew, for you, is there for the world building aspect of it, right? Because I assume that you'll be doing the world building stream. Is there anything? Because I also know you all have already recorded, and so it's just in production. Is there anything that you are excited about from what you know, what has happened, that you're like, oh man, I have ideas on how to build on this already, or even just off of the lore of the labyrinth as it already exists?
Uh, yeah, so the world that this is set in, let me look at these exact notes so that I'm not depicting this incorrectly because, it, it has its own description. All right, the world that this is set in is Night Bloom, which is a world where the sun like failed, and they responded to that by creating bioluminescent flora and fauna, and that's how like they survive and like thrive in this world. And I that alone is enough to like just continually go down a rabbit hole for infinity.
Truly, the phrasing of the word, the phrasing of the sun failed is wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it it's really the bit of world building that we get in there is really phenomenal. And uh yeah, I can't wait to just, go back through and listen to everything and pull out my notebook and write them things down and get in there. But the world itself is quite interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
awesome. Well, thank you all so much for doing. We're coming up here close to time. Is there anything else about your project or your characters or anything that you're dying to talk about? And then also, where and when can people find your show?
um, Man, actually, we don't have a set release date yet.
Hey, that's where can they go to find the release date once it's ready?
Uh, at the Apochromatic Unlimited Twitch. That is, man. You can find Apochromatic Unlimited at Apochromatic Unlimited on pretty much any social media. Uh, and yeah, we'll post a link there once we're set and ready to release it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Here for some heartwarming nonsense.
Also, we didn't mention it all, but Connie Chung is the GM for this, and that's something to be excited about. I'm excited about it. Everyone should be excited about it.
I
Honestly,
think so
honestly, he runs an incredible show. Like,
too. That he does. I'm jealous of all of you of getting able to experience it firsthand. So I'm super excited about it. And yeah, if for any of you all out there interested in Apochromatic Unlimited stuff, and for the release of their Kobold Creates project, you can find. I posted the link to the Twitch in all the chats. You can go click that and go follow them there. And they've also got some stuff on other social medias, just like Andrew said. I think in the YouTube description you can already go find it because I think I found it earlier and then put it in there. You're welcome.
Awesome.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything? I think that is all we've got. So yeah, thank you all so much. Again, let people know where who you were, where they can find you and your stuff. We'll go backwards this time, starting with Jen.
oh god, here we go. Hello, friends. I have been Jen. My pronouns have been and probably will continue to be they, she. I can be found on the internet at Jenbirb, JIENBIRB. You can also see that right there under my little camera. And yeah, that's me. It's been lovely. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I think that's me next. Hello, my darlings and dears. It's your Madam Ava here. You can find me anywhere at Madam Ava Couture. I'm literally everywhere except for Threads because I refuse to do Threads, but I'm still on that chaos site of Twitter because it tickles me sometimes. I'm usually found in 2 locations right now, Fusca's Twitch channel or Folk and Myth for some D&D or vampire shenanigans, whichever one they want me to do at that time. But it's been lovely being here. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least,
I'm Andrew. You can find me at ASUSGM on Blue Sky, really, because I don't use any other social media currently. Uh, and you can also find me on Melanin Mythos. I am the host over there. Yeah, that's me. That's what I do.
amazing. Well, thank you all so much for being here for another Kobold Chats. It's been amazing being here, talking with these amazing people about their game that I can't wait to watch all of these. I just can't wait to see all of you interacting in this wild world where the sun failed. I'm sure it's going to be so good. Sorry, my brain is failing me as I think about how cool this is. Again, thank you all so much for being here. It's been wonderful. You can always find us here at Kobold Chats at the place that you're actively watching it. And you can watch the VODs over on our YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Kobold Press, everywhere you can find it. And next week, I'm not going to be around. I'm going on vacation, so I'm so sorry. But there will be another Kobold. I think probably Dot will take over for the period of time, because I did a Kobold Creates interview earlier this week. So you'll be able to actually watch it next week. With the folks over from Tales of Initiative. So be on the lookout for that. And also, God, next week is Northlands. Next week is Northlands. Wild. We'll have so much to talk about when I get back. But with all that being said, don't forget to go out, be bold, be brave, be valiant. We'll see you next time.